we're going to see how well Gemini 3.5 Flash, the newest Gemini model that was just released, how well it can code. So we're going to test it by creating games like Minecraft, Subway Surfers with Cars, Angry Birds, GTA, and more. So if you're not familiar, this is a test I do with all the new models. So if you go on the Franklin 8 website and you go to benchmarks, under code test, you can actually see these are the 5 different prompts that I do, and I have tested this out with literally hundreds of different models. So you can pick any model and you can see the code for that given model. So here's Gemini 2.5 Flash, and you can see the code, and you can also see a preview of what that model looked like. So I have every single output from hundreds of models for all 5 different games that I have. Now, the prompts themselves have varying degrees of simplicity to detail to requirements. And I'm going to go through all these when we test the actual model, and I'll explain it as we go. So on the website, as I was showing you, if you do go to benchmarks, you can see we have a benchmark here, so you can see where the model ranks all time based off number of different tests, different benchmarks that exist. If you go up, we have code tests, which is I was just showing you, where you can see the 5 different prompts, but also I have something called the compare tool. So we can go to code, we're going to compare code instead of just benchmarks, and now we can fill in our 2 models. So we want Gemini Flash, the newest model, and we're going to compare it to Opus 4.7 throughout the remainder of this video. So we're going to take Anthropic's best model versus just Gemini Flash, and let's see how it compares. So you guys can be the judges in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and do subscribe. I'm going to ask for it early. I tend to always throw that in the end of the video. Maybe that'll help. It helps the algorithm, it helps me, and if you enjoy this type of content, consider it's free. We have our Angry Bird prompt, and the prompt here is create a single file HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Angry Birds inspired game. I want to have a menu screen, a level selector, and 10 different levels. You can see here, that was the prompt. It was very open for the model to decide what it wants to do. So you can see on the left, we have Gemini 3.5 Flash, and this is standard. That's like the thinking level. Produced 18,619 characters versus the 52,000 of Opus on the same exact prompt. The lines, 597 versus 1,541. But the number of lines and the actual code itself doesn't matter. How well did it actually come out? So we can toggle to visual, and now we can like compare the two. So we have angry slings. I'm just gonna hit pop out here so we can actually play it full screen, and let's give this a go. So we have level 1, and so the pullback effect is kind of cool. It does have a bird at the end, and we have 3 lives left, but the little canopy is wrong, and I think, okay, 2 birds left. Is it reversed? No, it's just straight buggy. So we have a game, Gemini Flash is playable, like it didn't just break. And if you have been subscribed for a while, thank you. If not, you'll know that we do this test, a lot of different models over the history of me doing this test, and you can see all of them here. There's a lot of them did break. So here, let's see Opus, and let's see what that one looks like. So this one has like a level select, how to play. We can go straight to level 1. I remember this one. This one looked really, really good. So you can kind of see the comparison. Opus is substantially better. So it's fair to say that Opus was better for the Angry Bird test, and will that be the case all the way throughout? We'll find out. And I know a lot of people are probably saying, yeah, of course, Opus is the best coding model. We're going to see. So we have the next one here. It is Minecraft. You're an expert game designer tasked with creating a simplified game inspired by Minecraft with the following constraint requirements. So this time around, I'm going to give it constraints to see how well it follows it. So there is a code limit. The game must be implemented with under 1,000 lines of code. So we need to make sure that there's under 1,000 lines for both models. We can see Flash 767, 781. Actually, the characters on the Flash model is actually higher this time around by 6,000, but anyway, we'll come back. And then we have technology. So we say it has to use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Three.js. So this time around, we gave it the exact library, the exact package we wanted to use, and we said focus on core gameplay. And then we have like procedural games and all that sort of fun stuff. Now, if we go down, we can see the code like I showed you before. Let's go to visual. So we have our Gemini Flash version here. We're going to hit pop out, and we have options. So we can do WSD to move, space to jump, left click to break, right click to place. We have our world here. So let's just start with like the easiest thing possible. Can we like move around? And we can. The controls are inverse. So minus a point there. But, and I know this because I've done this test like a million times. The level actually has the proper block system through like the walls. They're not see-through. A lot of models get that wrong. So we can place blocks, which is cool. Can we we like place a block under us and just keep jumping? Does that work? Yeah, look at this. So it is indeed Minecraft, and we can actually break blocks. So there's that, and it looks and functions pretty well. So we have a Minecraft game that we can actually play, and the world is generating as we go. You can kind of see it. It's pretty awesome. All right, now we have Minecraft. The world is ready. Let's hit pop out. And if I remember correctly, this was the one. Yeah. So it added the trees, and it has all these different things that you can do. So you can add dirt, stone, sand, wood. You can like flip between all of it. And it does have the trees. The leaves are non-solid, so you can like walk through them. But the actual level has that whole glitch I was talking about. So you can't see, like you can see through the block. It's not solid. And then the same problem is when you jump, if you like add a block, you can't really tell just the way it is. And then if I jump off, you can kind of see the block is invisible on certain aspects. So as cool as this is, I think it's less playable. While Claude did a better job with Angry Birds, I'm going to give Gemini a point here. And up next, we have Subway Surfers, but with cars, and we have here our prompt. I want to code an infinite runner game. It's going to be inspired by Subway Surfers. It goes on to talk about what the prompt is. If we go down, we can actually see, and let's just jump to what it is. Actually, let's see the code first. So 634 lines versus 1,000. Anthropic was cooking, and then you can actually see the characters. The characters are actually a lot closer than the line count. It doesn't matter. Let's try it. Here is Gemini Neon Drive 3D. Race down the winding cyber highway. Avoid the structural barriers. And you can see it actually looks really nice. Like the whole cutscene beforehand, you got to give it some credit. That's really cool. And not a cutscene. That's the actual gameplay. It's just swaying back and forth. The camera is panning back and forth with the road. So at times you can't see your car. And also, I don't see any obstacles. And there's like speed at the top, but it's kind of cut off. Don't know exactly what's going on here. So I can kind of live forever because there are no obstacles. So there's that. And we have highway. I remember this one being extremely good. Very difficult, but you can see the car actually like flips upside down. And the only problem with this one is, again, it is inversed. I don't know why most of these models inverse the controls. It's just kind of a weird thing that it's doing. This one is playable. The clouds are there, the trees, the background. It is easy to say that Claude wins this one. Sonic. This one here, this prompt leaves a lot of room for the model to decide what it's doing and how it's going to. So we said here, can you make a simple Sonic 1 inspired game? For now, just use simple blocks. So that was it. It's extremely Claude to 902 lines, 27,000 characters versus 253, 7,757 characters. And I like doing it this way for full transparency because you can see my prompt, you can see the coded outputs, you can copy the prompt, you can try it with any of the models, and you can go on the website, you can do the whole like code comparison tool, and you can compare between all the different models that I've tested this with. So have some fun. If you want to see Flash versus any of these other models, you can do it like quickly. This time around, let's start with Opus. I remember this one being good, and you can see like our little Sonic character thingamajig. Oh, and it is the arrow keys. And when you jump, it gives you like the little Sonic animation, and then we can still hit them. We can collect our coins, we can lose coins, and we can kind of go through the level. If I remember correctly, and try to do these tests like fairly regularly, I have only one life left. Let me restart my lives so I can like start fresh. But if I remember correctly, this game has a place where you can't really finish. Like you're going to get to the point where you can't beat the level. And I think that might be here. You can't jump across. As cool as it looks, and it is really cool, don't get me wrong, not beatable. I think you have to factor that in. If you're creating a Sonic game, you want to make the game beatable. You just can't make that jump. 3.5 Flash, let's give this one a go. So we can move left and right and to run. So that works. We're off to a good start. Did I just glitch the game? I totally glitched the game. All right, hold on a second. Let me refresh, pop out, and let's try this again. So left and right to run, and you can see the speed. We can click down and we can roll, so the Sonic takes a different form. So it looks kind of cool. The jumping mechanic, so we press space to jump, but it's kind of weird because as I'm pressing space, it doesn't always, and then you can get here, and now I feel like I'm kind of stuck and the momentum pulled me out.
5 minutes later.
And I can tell you, you cannot get out. So this game is even more broken, but as you saw before, there's no end screen to this game. I think for this one, I'm going to give it tie. The Claude one does look better. It does have the menu. You can argue it is a better output, but in the end, neither of them are truly playable. I've tried the Claude one a lot. I tried the Gemini one a lot. You can't beat either. There's no endpoint to either. Therefore, you don't really have a game. The ChatGPT one, last time around it did this, that was probably the best output I've seen to date. wait, wondering, here is ChatGPT. So ChatGPT actually had like all these rings that you collect, and it was like really quick, but it actually had an endpoint. So when you made your way through, you like had the rings you can hit, you can see the speed and everything, but you can actually make it to the end. And you can see how they have like the rings. It's really like thought out because it's like, oh, you're doing this jump. Okay. So see, I got stuck there, and it's all these like little details, but you can see here, you're doing this jump. Okay. So collect these rings for the jump you're doing. So it just makes a lot of sense. And then there is the endpoint that I was talking about. So I think the ChatGPT one was really good relative to the Flash and the Claude model. Last but not least, my favorite test, the GTA test. I want to create a single file GTA inspired game using Threes. Again, if you don't know, Threes is just a library for HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So I'm just going to direct it towards that just to make it fair, make it a little easier. And I said, make it 3D. I want to have the ability to run around, jump in and out of cars that are moving around a downtown city. There should be 3D. Try to make it look as good as possible while only using shapes. So that's all I want. It is really interesting. The Flash model is insanely fast. Okay. Opus is a little slower. The fact that it did generate 27,000 characters versus 28, but look at the line count, utilizing the lines more. Again, it doesn't matter. I can tell you as a professional programmer, lines, character count makes no difference. It all depends on the output you have. Here is our Claude one, and we're off to a good start. We're kind of like stuck in a building, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go. We're out. Okay. Our character is really cool. So you can move around. You can see his legs. You can see everything. We can press space to jump. We can use shift to like go faster. The car looks hilarious. Okay. Just the way the wheels are. Let me try to enter a car for us so we can see. I can like run faster than, oh no. Did I get stuck? Okay. I didn't get stuck. Enter a car. Here we go. I jacked the car, but you can see the way you go is a little wonky. There is streetlights now, and there's like a whole city. The buildings look really nice. So all around, it is really good, except for the fact cars going through the building. There's a star system in the top right. It is pretty good. This is Claude Opus 4.7. And I can tell you again, I've done this like 1,000 times. It feels like not that many, but I've done it this many times. And it is really fun to see the progression of the models being able to pull this off over the years. So we have pop out. This is Gemini Flash. And where are the buildings? I feel like this is worse than the last Flash version. So the cars look a little better. We have like a character now, and you can like jack the vehicle. Can I move? Am I moving? Yeah, I guess I am moving. It's just hard to tell. So we have like this one building. The building does look cool if you like or want your city to have a single building that you can drive through. I think it's safe to say that Claude won this test. I want to go back. I want to see the old Flash model because I feel like it was better. Here, this is 2.5 Flash. Okay, same exact prompt. And again, this is just like one single output that I have. So you can see we have like this little beam, but at least we have like buildings and roads. And I mean, we have some random things floating in the sky, but that doesn't matter. We have like more of a city. I feel like the results before were better. If you agree, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I can tell you from using Gemini Flash 3.5 over the last 2 days since it's been released, I've been using it a lot in anti-gravity. It is extremely quick. Are the results and the coding stuff that it does the top tier? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. I think it is a strong model. It is fast and cheaper than the state-of-the-art models, but that difference that you're losing is noticeable. Opus is better. GPT 5.5 Pro is better. Gemini Pro 3 is better. So if you want just like a really quick model to use, go with Gemini Flash 3.5. If you want a model that's going to give you a better result, go with any of the other state-of-the-art models. With that said though, my opinion does alter a little if you're using anti-gravity. Anti-gravity just works well with anti-gravity. The results, the way it's forced a little bit more, it's really good. I guess it depends on your application at the end of the day. Try to flip around. Try to use all of them to your advantage. Let me know your thoughts are in the comments below. Have you used Gemini 3.5 Flash? What are your thoughts? What have been your experiences? This is just my fun code test I like to do with each model. It's like that one prompt, varying degrees of information, difficulty, detail to the model. Just see how it outputs. Don't forget to subscribe for the latest greatest AI. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with another AI video.
AI tools, AI news, AI prompts you can use. It's all for free, just come and see at franklinai.com where you're meant to be.